there, Candace from C3 Creative. Let's make a bow. Today we're going to do Bumblebee edition, and as always I pick my ribbons, and if you want to know a pattern for ribbons, I kind of go with a focal ribbon, which for me on this one it's going to be this beautiful D.Stevens kind of natural bumblebee, which I think is super cute. And then I'm going to complement that. You know, they say you can do a stripe or a polka dot. I actually am doing 2 polka dots because I like that this polka dot kind of brings in this one. Might be too much, but we'll see how it turns out. And then, so this is a nice deluxe, and it's got the yellow fuse back. So it's a really, really nice ribbon. And then I've got these little bumblebees with some white because I want to bring in a little bit of white with it. And then very similar beads to the D.Stevens here. And then this is a, like I said, the fused polka dot with the black back. So it kind of is the counterpart to this. So that's kind of my recipe for that today. Again, before I get started, if you're going to use a bow maker, have your bow maker ready. You want to have a zip tie to secure your bow, a tinsel tie to put through the back, a good pair of scissors, and your wire snips. So I always start by dropping my ribbon on the floor. And I'm gonna do about a 7-inch tail because this is a really wide ribbon. And I'm gonna drop that down in there. And then I'm gonna do probably 7-inch loops here. Actually, I'm doing 8. So 8-inch loops. And I like this ribbon because the bees are flying in all the directions, so they're not going in any one direction, so I don't have to worry about flipping my ribbon. Did I say we did 8? Yep, 8 inches on this side. So I just measure it with my hand, and then I come across, and then I'm going to snip that down. And I'm doing probably about a 20. I usually do my tail somewhere between 22 and 24 inches if I'm doing a bigger bow. Smaller bows, I don't go as long. But with an 8-inch loop, I'll usually do a 22 to 24-inch tail. So now I'm just going to go across and balance this out on the other side. And there we go. So that's our first 2 loops. And now I'm going to kind of arrange this because I'm going to kind of want one to go up and one to go down. And then I'm going to pull this piece out a little bit to the side just to kind of give myself some dimension here. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with this beautiful deluxe. I'm going to trim my edge. And I'm going to push that in. And again, you always pinch and twist. May have forgotten to tell you that on the last one. And we're going to do an 8-inch loop on this one as well. So I'm just going to come out here to 8 inches. Push that down. And then again, I'm going to pinch and twist that over. And do an 8-inch loop on the other side. 8 inches, and then I'm going to come down. And I like to cut my tail just a little bit shorter on the next one, so I'll cut this one about right here. And then we will go across on the other side. Just like that. And then I'm just cutting it just a tad shorter than the tail before it. Now, because I had my ribbon this way, this time I'm going to go up with this loop, and I'm going to go down with this loop, and I want this in the middle, and then I'm going to have this one come in the middle a little bit, just to give myself some direction there. And now I'm going to go in. You know what? I kind of want to put some Swiss dot in here. No, it might be too much. I'm like overthinking things. I'll just do 4 loops of this smaller bead is what I'm going to do. And this time I'm going to go about 1 inch shorter. So I'm going to go about 7 inches. There we go. And then I'm going to come across. So I'm going to do 2 of each one this time. There we go. Cutting my tail, and then I'm going to come across and match my tail on the other side. loops and kind of see how things look. And actually, I think I'm going to do a check. I don't want to go back in with a polka dot, so I'm going to get a check instead. So I decided that I want to add a little bit more of this natural color in. So I'm going to put just a couple loops in of this natural. And it's a little bit bigger. You don't always have to have the exact same size. So I'm going to go about an inch shorter on either side. Just adding a little bit of dimension here. Break it up so I don't have too much of the same color. And I'm going to snip, come across, and trim. And then for my button, I could either go in with this or this. And I think I think we need to add a little yellow. And I think I'm going to go with this stripe actually. So we'll do our button with this little yellow stripe, just to kind of tie it all together. Super cute. I like how that looks. Okay, so that's our bow. And from there, we're going to take our twist tie underneath. It's getting stuck on something. There we go. And I like to secure it just enough so that I can pull it out of my bow maker, but keep my ribbons together, okay? So you're gonna zip it just enough so that you can lift it out just like this. You're gonna turn it, because you're gonna need to slide this to the middle, rotate it to the back, flip your bow over, make sure it's stacked up just like a sandwich. You don't want it to start leaning. Make sure you have a nice clean stack of ribbon. And then you're going to pull this nice and tight. That is the secret to a good bow, is a nice tight cinch, nicely stacked ribbons, and spacing out your loops. And there we go. And look how messy this looks. Everyone's bow looks like this when they start. This is where the magic happens. This is where we're going to dovetail, and then we're going to fluff our bow and make it beautiful. So I start with my back ribbons, and you just fold the two seams together, and you want to cut up. And we do this so that we don't cut our fingers. And I totally missed the big 4-inch ribbon in the back. So let me come back here and trim that up. And then I like to singe my ribbons so that I don't fray. So I'll usually do that at the end, but since I missed that, I didn't want to miss it again. So I'm just folding my seams together, and then I'm cutting up at an angle, just like that. So I have a nice, clean cut. Where is this one? That's over here on the side. Okay. And then we're going to do our smaller bees. And then this smaller bee. Natural swirl here. I like this because it kind of reminds me of like the bees buzzing around, right? So that's why I thought this might be good to add a little last minute addition here to our bow. And then the stripes, of course, mimic the stripes in our bees, so that's perfect. And then I'm going to just trim this, and now I'm just going to singe these ends. Top's done. Now we're just going to do our tails on the bottom. I'm going to take all of these that I cut and slide them in my trash can. Clean as I go. I make a big mess. Every wreath maker, bow maker probably is not, like, I'll clean up and then, you know, I don't know, within 48 hours it looks like it hasn't been cleaned in weeks. So I'll have to come back and clean up after myself, but it's so fun. I wouldn't change it. I absolutely love making bows, and I love picking the ribbons and touching them and seeing what looks good together. I mean, look at this. I love this combination. It just looks So cute. It's perfect. So I couldn't be happier with this. And again, sometimes what I'm starting out with, like I was really thinking I would use this one, but decided it was too much polka dot. And that's okay. You can change your mind. And even if you put it together, I mean, I have absolutely put a bow together before and then taken it apart because I didn't like how it looked. So you can do that too. Nothing is, you know, permanent. You can always cut your zip tie and start over again. I've definitely done that. And what I'm doing here is just staggering my tails. I like each one to be just a little bit shorter so that you get to see each ribbon, right? So, and there we go. And now we're going to singe our ends real quick. I think I already did this one, but I can't remember, so we'll do it again real fast. Oops, I did not cut that one straight. There we go. Got a little crooked there. And there we go. The shirt keeps falling down. And throw that in the trash. Now what I'm doing is going to grab this from the back, and I'm going to start shaping my bows. So what I'm going to do is take my hands and just put them in these loops like this, and we're just rounding our loops back out. And then I like to look at my tails here and pull them towards me just like this. Some people pull them the other way, and that's okay. It's whatever your preference is. I like to pull them towards me. I like that kind of curl that goes backwards. I just think it looks really pretty. So, matter of preference. There is no set way of doing it. And then I like my tails to kind of at the top to be going backwards, just like that. So I'm going to round everything out. And there we go. There's our bow. Look how cute this is. I absolutely love this. I love bumblebees, but I think this turned out really pretty. A nice big juicy bow, and it takes just a short amount of time. And I'll put a link down in the comments with all the ribbons that I used and if they're still available where you can purchase them at. Hope you enjoyed.